They want to enslave your child, your wife, your mother. There isn't anything that you ever had. There isn't anything that you own. There isn't any right that you possess that they're not planning on taking away.
Sheeple.
Your sheeple. And your children are going to be slaughtered if you go along with the program. It's time to wake the town and tell the sheeple. We're being led like sheep to the slaughter. What is the purpose? A new world order. The United States of America is controlled by this evilarchy. They control the money system. They control the State Department. They control the presidency.
So they have a plan to give us a new age, world, global occultic religion. They're going to have been deceived so greatly that they'll actually think it's something good. In fact, the whole New Age movement, the New World Order crowd is telling people that the 666 mark of the beast is the most elite thing that could ever happen to them.
No cash. Cashless society. It's ready to go. Disease could be created. In essence, this is what he was saying.
We have new strains of virtually everything that's drug resistant or drug free.
I'm not worried about the old diseases. I'm worried about the ones that they create to bring down the population of the world. They simply want to exterminate them, but that they consider them to be useless eaters.
Words are very important to the Illuminati. These things are manufactured purposely for a purpose. And so I'm saying that there is something organized and directed, and it's here in this country.
Future shocker, biochip. And this is what Anthony showed you earlier, a biochip. That's an injectable computer chip, an economic mark in the back of our right hands or in our foreheads.
You've got a choice. You can join in this fight, or you can die as a slave.
Wait on the Lord Yahweh. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai. It's the book of Psalm chapter 27, verse 14. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. And double honor to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, and Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I believe today is the 3rd of May, 2025. Okay, and I wanted to go into a couple of articles here real quick through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting to the elect. All right, and I have, like I said, a couple of articles, and I'm just jump right into it. All right, it says experts are warning that there will be significant shortages in the United States by the end of next month. And this article is dated April 29th, 2025. So they're talking about this month here, the month of May. Okay, so let's go through this real quick. All right, this is all part of biblical prophecy, end time biblical prophecy, and that's what we're here for. Okay, is to give warning of the things that are yet to come. All right, and these things that are yet to come, we've passed the stage where they're yet to come. We're actually seeing these things coming to pass. All right, let's get this real quick, and then we're going to jump into the article. All right, it's the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and start off at 2. It says, and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Okay, and that's the stead of the prophets. Okay, we're the ones that are carrying this message out. Okay, so the elect can see it and repent and be delivered. Okay, as is written in the book of Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, that what a prudent man, right, foreseeth the evil to come and hideth himself. Okay, how are you going to hide yourself? You hide yourself in the Almighty. Okay, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, let me get that real quick. All right. Let's get that real quick. This is a book of Psalm chapter 18 and verse 10. It says, the name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Okay, so the elect are the ones who are considered righteous, all right, in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Hence, he sent his prophets down here, starting from my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, and their elders before them. Okay, but in this day and age, right now, as it stands, all right, it starts from my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. Okay, that the Lord sent the message to deliver to the elect. Okay, and every single one of us heard that same message, and we woke up to this truth. We repented, all right, and now we're doing the works, all right, that Lord willing, the Lord might see fit for salvation. Okay, that's the main reason why we're here. Scripture says what? Seek ye your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, so as we see the things that are happening across the world, even here in Babylon the Great, okay, we're seeing that, we're inching closer and closer to the end, all right, and closer to our salvation and the destruction of the wicked. Okay, the destruction of this wicked ass empire, man. All right. So continue in verse Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Right. So when you read that in the NLT, it says this vision is for a future time. Okay. So the time of Habakkuk, right? The book of Habakkuk was written and pretty much took place around what they say 607 to 604 BC. Okay. That's pretty much around that time. Okay. So from that time all the way to now, okay, those visions that the Lord gave the prophet Habakkuk, we're seeing those come to pass right now. Okay. And that includes the article that I'm going to go into. All right. It says here, it describes the end and it will be fulfilled. There you go. The end of what? The end of this world, the end of this age, the end of this empire. All right. This wicked time, this wicked rulership. Okay. This painful time of Israel's captivity. All right. And the destruction. All right. Of all things that are considered righteous. All right. Because that's what we've seen. Okay. From the time of the crucifixion of Yahushua all the way till now, we've seen nothing but evils. Okay. Even prior to that. Right. With the Greeks. Okay. Because scriptures tell you in the book of the book of First Maccabees that what evils start to increase upon the face of the earth when the Greeks came into power. All right. Starting with Alexander the Great, so-called. All right. So going back into second Habakkuk 2 and verse 3, it says, it describes the end. It will be fulfilled. Okay. That's what prophets are here for, to tell you, all right, what's to come. All right. And the next step from here is the end, the destruction of this place, man. Okay. We're seeing the building blocks, all right, leading to the MOTB being mandated upon the face of the earth very soon. We're seeing it. We're seeing the infrastructure being built. As is written, he causeth all. Okay. So we're seeing that step right now as we speak. Okay. And the things that's going to be happening in the next coming weeks and months is going to be feeding directly, all right, into resulting in the MOTB being mandatory upon the face of the earth. Okay. It says it is seen. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently. Okay. And that takes faith. All right. To wait patiently for something that for so long seems like is never going to happen. It's like, how is it going to start? How, sometimes you sit back and you wonder, like, how is this even going to come about? Look at where we at. Look where we are now. Look where we're trying to be. How are we even going to get there? How are we even going to start? How are we going to go about this? Yeah, you have faith that you're going to get it. You're going to find a way, right? You're going to actually push through to get to that end goal that you've been trying to get to. That takes faith to keep on going when everybody just gives up on you. Everybody gives up on the mission. Everyone says, oh, we ain't got no way out of this, man. We just going, it's over with. Nah. You keep on fighting, the Lord is going to reward you, right? It says, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. So we're seeing all these things coming to pass, man. All right. We can go down the list on different types of prophecies that's all happening now. All right. You got earthquakes, crazy earthquakes everywhere, all across the world. All right, you have Jerusalem is on fire right now as we speak. I mean, that's incredible in and of itself. Okay. And then now we're getting ready for the famines. Let's read. It says experts are warning that there will be significant shortages in the United States by the end of next month. It says it will be difficult to overstate the seriousness of the crisis that we are facing. Just about every single industry in the United States is extremely dependent on imports from China, and now trade with China is essentially coming to a standstill. I wish that I was exaggerating, but I am not. According to the World Trade Organization, trade between the United States and China could decline by as much as 80%. Okay? By as much as 80%. So 80% of the products that comes here from China, all right, will come to a standstill. You could include your basic appliances, all right, from basic appliances to vehicles. Well, actually, technically, sometimes, not all, but some vehicles. I don't know if they even allow, all right, Chinese people to even have their vehicles out here. you know, because they'll blow American products out the water. All right, I was talking to my friend. He's actually out in the UEA. All right, United Emirates, whatever, that area, the Middle East area, whatever, right? And I think it's UAE, United Arab Emirates, I think, or United Emirates, yeah, United Arab Emirates, I think that's what it's called, UAE, right? And he was telling me, he said, "Yo, man, like when you get out of Babylon, bro, you get to see a whole lot. Like there's a different world. It's a completely different world out there. You know, Babylon just blocks you from seeing reality. But outside of Babylon, everybody lives in reality to a degree. You know, you said you're talking to different groups of people, different cultures, different nationalities, different spirits, different lifestyle. I mean, we talk all kinds of diverse kinds of people. And he said they all have a different way of doing things. You know, he said, look at the Chinese people. He said, yo, China is running the car game right now, bro. They're running the car game. That's why America does not allow them to come sell their products here in America, because Tesla will be like, they'll go out of business within minutes. He said they have a car that, and I actually looked it up. I might have to find the name of it, but he said there's a car that, you know, it drives underwater. That motherfucker drive in water, man. He said, yo, as long as it gets traction underwater, that car is going to go. I said, damn. You know, and it's cheap. You know what I'm saying? It's cheap. He said, look at the population of China. They're making so much money because they got what, 2 billion people? The Chinese military alone is made of 1 billion people, man. 1 billion? Right? So that's like what, three and a half times the size of America's entire population. Right? 3 times, at least 3 times. Okay? And they're selling not just to the Chinese population, but all across this Europe and Asia and shit. Okay? He said they have their technological advancements in their cars are like, they blow everything America does out the water. And I remember Elder Apostle Ho was going into that. Like he was showing some vehicles that the Chinese people be making and stuff. I'm like, damn. You know, like we're talking like next level. He said, yo, they've mastered the car game. That's what he was saying. Right. So the point is, China produces a lot of stuff. A lot of businesses go to China. Right. You know, of course, because of cheap labor and stuff like that. But they go to China. All right. To build their products and then come over here to America and sell it. Right. Majority of the products that people use, from sneakers to cell phones to, like I said, home appliances to, you know, anything. All right. Shit, even to a degree, medication. All right. Because they manufacture a lot of these things. Again, China is like a hub for manufacturing, you know, for cheap labor and so on and so forth. So if you got 80%, all right, being affected, that means that the bulk of America's products that they're going to be using will be affected. And that's a problem. Okay, it's a problem, all right, but it's a problem that was created to have a certain reaction that will bring a certain solution. Okay, so let's continue. It says here, the World Trade Organization has warned that goods traded between the U.S. and China could decrease by as much as 80%. Backing U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's description of the current situation as essentially a trade embargo. Okay, unless something changes, this is going to be the biggest shock to our economy in decades. Okay, so they're just letting you know straight up, yeah, we're gonna go not just a depression, but this is a complete collapse. Okay, they have to destroy this system in order to bring in the new one. So this is all being carefully orchestrated. It's not by accident. Okay. And you had this guy, I believe the Secretary of Commerce, if I'm not mistaken, Howard Lutnick. I think that's his name. And he's a J, right? And he's right behind Trump all the time. And he said the tariffs were the best thing that could have ever happened, because now basically these tariffs has created such an economic shakeup that now they're able to implement a lot of these things that they couldn't have done before. right? A lot of technological solutions that typically wouldn't have been the case, right? Because right now you got a lot of companies going straight up full automation, right? So even truckers are being laid off because they're not needed. You got companies like Aurora, all right, you can look it up. They're creating trucks that can go, coast to coast and deliver so-called goods and shit like that, right? So the truckers, that's going to affect them as well, right? When you have a lot of these stores being closed down, the truckers are the ones who are delivering these goods. Okay, so if they're being laid off, that means that there is no work, there's no jobs, right? So that's another problem that's going to hit the economy because you have no work, right? You ain't going to be making no money. And if you're not making no money, you're not spending no money, right? And that's going to bring the economy to a halt because now people don't have their products that they need. Okay, so that's another crisis in and of itself. You have people who don't have jobs, right? You have needs, but you don't have any supply, right? Demand goes all the way up, supply goes all the way down. Now what? Right? That's a crisis. Okay. It says at the moment, our stores are filled with products that are manufactured in factories in China. But now, many of those factories have become eerily quiet, right? That's why a lot of these stores are closing down. Okay, a whole lot. Let me see. I think there was something that I was reading earlier. Let me see if it's still there. Let me see. I forget exactly what company it was, but I was reading something earlier. At least I caught the headline of it, and they were saying that there was this company that was basically shutting down all their stores, not even like a few, all of them. So the whole retail apocalypse that started even prior to CV-19, okay, it's kicked up another notch because of these tariffs, right? And it only makes sense. It's a clever way to take down the system and to also have an excuse so that people don't really bug out too much, but they're still going to bug out. All right, that's why they're coming up with legislations now so they can imprison American citizens, all right, in foreign lands or even domestically, right? So continuing, says, cool, I know several factories that have told half of their employees to go home for a few weeks and stop most of their production, end quote, said Cameron Johnson, Shanghai-based senior partner at consulting firm Tidal Wave Solutions. He said factories making toys, sporting goods, and low-cost dollar store type goods are the most affected right now. Ooh. All right. It says while not large scale yet, it is happening in the key export hubs of Yiwu and Dongguan, and there is concern that it will grow, Johnson said. Okay, and of course it is going to grow. All right. Again, the whole concept is to cripple the economy. All right, get the people to a point where they have nothing, all right, to lose because they lose everything. You're going to start seeing people giving up their homes and all. Yo, BlackRock is going to come and start buying shit, buying people homes and stuff like that for cheap. Okay, for cheap. It says there is hope that tariffs. There's a hope that tariffs will be lowered so orders can resume. But in the meantime, companies are furloughing employees and idling some production. All right, that's a perfect precept, a perfect segue for this precept here. All right, it's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and verse 3 says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened." Right, so the keepers of the house, you're really going into the those who are affiliated with the stock market and so on and so forth. Okay, these insider traders, and all these people that keep the system going. All right, they can give a forecast. Oh, well, according to this and that, these events that are happening is going to affect these products over here. Right? It says, "And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few." So that's what's going on. The tariffs is causing the grinders to cease. These production factories, they're all coming to a screeching halt. Okay, that's all biblical prophecy, man. Okay, and I believe it tells you in the book of Second Ezra that what? That suddenly shall the storehouses appear empty. Okay, so don't be surprised when you get up one day, because again, it's a prophecy, something that was seen before, right? And it was recorded thousands of years ago. So now we're seeing these things play out. It didn't play out all those times until now, because now is the appointed time, as we read in Habakkuk. Okay, the vision being set for an appointed time. Okay, it says, we are also witnessing an unprecedented decline in cargo shipments from China to the United States. Oof. Port of Los Angeles Executive Order Gene Soroka is telling us that, quote, essentially all shipments out of China for major retailers and manufacturers have ceased, end quote. Wow. All. That's the key. Essentially all. All right. Essentially all. It says, President Donald Trump's trade war policies are expected to bring about a 35% decline in cargo arriving at the port of Los Angeles by next week, as essentially all shipments out of China for major retailers and manufacturers have ceased. The grinders ceasing. It literally uses the word. Okay. Ecclesiastes 12:3, it says, and the grinders cease because they are few. Okay, and those that look out the window or out of the windows be darkened. Right, so there's no hope. That's what they're saying right now. Okay, like we're gonna see a decline and all these different things. So they're looking out the window. They're looking into the future of the things that are happening now and how it's going to affect, all right, the people in the next coming weeks and months. Okay, and again, like I said, this is all done by design. They have to push the people to a corner so they can accept their new world order agenda. Period. Okay, and you're gonna start seeing when they start pushing the health scare, the viruses, the diseases and stuff like that, the pestilence part, when it starts rising up again, just like it did back in 2020, 2021, you're going to start seeing a lot of things change. Okay, Trump is going to flip. He's going to go from, I took the vaccine, take the vaccine, I took the vaccine, it's good for you, take it, right? Now it's going to be much more harsh, right? RFK, they put that dude in there thinking, oh, this guy's going to be the health czar, he's going to change things and there'll be no more Vanessas and all that. No. Remember, we said this was a year ago. I remember doing the lesson, and I don't remember exactly the title or where the video is now, but I remember doing a lesson. I mentioned it on multiple occasions through the Spirit that this RFK guy, they're setting him up to be the guy who comes in to set the stage to say, oh, the pharmaceutical companies and these drug companies, they're all fraudulent. They've all messed up, and we don't need this stuff in Americans' systems anymore, right? So we're gonna change the whole system, right? No more Vanessas. We've done research. We know that the Vanessas are not safe to take. So why are we giving it to the people anyway? We need to stop doing all that. Okay, that's the ploy. And then once he comes in, he's gonna start changing things, and he's going to shift everything digital. You see, so now the argument is no longer are Vanessas good for you. Now it switches to become we don't need to be getting Vanessas from pharmaceutical companies who are just trying to make money. But now we're shifting everything to the digital. So you can bypass the pharmaceutical companies. You're going to go straight digital. So now you don't have a digital doctor, right? You don't have to go to the pharmaceutical, the pharmaceutical companies, doctors, because that's all they are, right? You don't have to go to them anymore. You can just deal with AI, and AI is going to do everything for you. Right? You can sit home, scan your face, and it's going to tell you what's wrong with you that day. Right? So we're looking to implement that. So all they're doing is just changing the face. Everything stays the same. They're just changing the face. That's all. Okay? Because at the end of the day, these so-called government agencies are all in bed with the J's policies, man. All right? When you have lobbyists, okay, lobbyists are those who have they're able to influence those who make laws. Congress. Okay. Anyway, so continuing, it says, let me see here. All right. It says the good news is that major retailers still have Chinese-made goods that they previously purchased to sell to us. Well, they actually gonna run out. When it runs out, now what? Right. But as they work through their existing inventory levels, pretty soon we're going to start seeing empty shelves. There you go. So that's again, and it says, and those that look out the windows be darkened. Okay, dark times are ahead. All right. Empty shelves, that's a dark time. Imagine being a mother going to the store to try to pick up some baby stuff, some stuff for your baby or whatever, and now you're screwed because there ain't nothing on the shelves, and people are going to start hoarding it, start, buying a whole bunch of it. Right. A couple of months ago, there was the egg scare. And I said, yep, that's a tone setter. Next, they're going to just replace the eggs with something else that's of necessity. And people are going to start hoarding and bugging out. And they're going to start putting rules and regulations on these things. So it says, in fact, the chief economic advisor to President Trump, that's who? I believe that's Howard Lutnick, right? It might be him. Let me see if they're going to say it. It says, during his first term is openly warning that we could start experiencing significant shortages in late May. Okay, we're in early May right now. Guess what? May will go by so fast. So fast, right? So like the Elder Apostle Hart mentioned in one of his videos, you might want to start stacking up now. Okay, you might want to start stocking up now, get a few things here and there for yourself just so you can avoid that initial rush when people start realizing, oh shit, I need to run to the store right now. Oh shit, I need to go to the gas station right now. Because at any day, at any time, all they need to do is just hit the switch and all hell's going to break loose, man. Okay, just like that. Everything gets affected all at once. All hell's going to break loose because everything is digital now. Everything is on an electrical grid. So you mess with that electrical grid, it shuts everything down. Phone services not working. Okay. People possibly work related activities will not go on because if you have no cell service, right, your internet is down. Most people who are working either from home or even in the office, that's going to affect your work. Okay. And if you work in a business that deals mostly with just numbers, right, and product and so on and so forth, that's going to take a hit. Okay. So you have a worker shortage. Okay. That's a problem. You have product shortage. That's a problem. That's a crisis right there. And then on top of that, you have electrical or / energy crisis. That's a huge problem, man. Okay. And people getting sick and so on and so forth with these virus crises. So you're looking at a poly crisis all at once. People will bug out. Okay. Because you're not going to have enough answers from Trump to get you to stay calm. Okay. When you're suffering, this guy is saying that, oh, gas just went down $1.98. I'll pay anyone $1,000 right now. If I had $1,000, I'll pay you $1,000 right now. If you could show me a gas station that's selling gas for $1.98, even here in New York, So I don't know where they're getting their numbers from. I don't know, where they're getting all this information. They just post shit and expect people to just believe it, because they know people are not paying attention, right? So continue. It says, American consumers, right? That's that word again, consumers, are just weeks away from feeling the effects of President Donald Trump's tariffs at the cash register. Gary Cohn, Trump's chief economic advisor during his first term, said. All right, so that's back then. So now I believe it's Howard Lutnick, if I'm not mistaken. It says in a CBS interview, John Cohn forecast that the consequences of newly imposed tariffs on China will start rippling through the U.S. economy by late May. Okay, man, it's crazy. The cycle from a good being sold in China, loaded on a vessel, sailed across the ocean, unloaded in the United States, put in a factory, and distributed to a shelf is about 8 weeks in the United States, he told Face the Nation on Sunday. All right. Let's see. There you go. Torsten Slock, the chief economist at Apollo Global Management, is also pointing to next month as a time when we will begin seeing empty shelves. So this month, right, in U.S. stores and CV-like shortages for consumers. Okay, cars, everything, man, everything is going to be affected by this. Okay, because even parts of cars, the car might not be manufactured in China per se, but the parts of that vehicle might be. Right? It says the economic impact of the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration will soon become apparent to everyday Americans and lead to a recession this summer, according to Apollo Global Management. There you go. Okay, and it's right on time because they said by, I think either June or July, they said that they're gonna have certain things in place to bring about the CBDC. Right, but now people are kind of catching on to the whole CBDC and what it's about. So now they're not really using that term; they're just using cryptocurrency. You know, all banks must switch over to crypto. If not, they're gonna be extinct within the next 10 years or whatever. You know what I mean? So everything is crypto. Crypto is the same as CBDC. All right, it's hidden, but it's digital. Right, it's not physical. See what I'm saying? It says Torsten Slok, chief economist at Apollo, laid out a timeline in a presentation for clients that showed when the impact of tariffs announced by President Donald Trump could hit the U.S. economy. Based on the transport time required for goods from China, U.S. consumers could start to notice trade-related shortages in their local stores next month, according to their presentation. So don't be surprised if you go to a store, again, like I said, any store, any regular store, and then you see signs that says, shortage of milk, or shortage of eggs, or shortage of butter, or shortage of whatever, right? Honey, whatever, right? And you'd be like, how, they produce that in China too? Damn, what the fuck? You know? There's going to be a lot of shortages, man. A lot. And those shortages will lead to store closures, businesses closing down, and that's all going to affect people. No work, no produce, nothing. So now you're going to have to depend on the government, you know? And that's exactly what they're looking for, right? So let's keep going. It says the consequence will be empty shelves in U.S. stores in a few weeks and CV-like shortages for consumers and for firms using Chinese products as intermediate goods, Slok wrote in a note to clients Friday. Okay? And it goes on and on and on, but you know, the point has been made, okay, that we're pretty much in the last weeks of you having some form of abundance when it comes to products that you need in your household. You know, so you might as well just start, you know, getting stuff ready now. Okay, because the Esau he's on the move. All right, he's definitely on the move, man, and he's setting the stage. Okay, he's definitely setting the stage, right? It says here, there's another article. It says your social security card will soon be available digitally. You see how they're playing the game? It's happening step by step by step. Gradualism. Okay, we said this was going to happen. That you're going to have your social security, your birth certificate, everything's going to be on that one device, the CHIP. It says the Social Security Administration, SSA, announced on Friday the forthcoming availability of a digital alternative to the traditional Social Security card, set to be launched in early summer. And I believe a couple of weeks ago I did a lesson on them saying that in April, I think the first couple of weeks in April, they were going to be coming up with this new digital stuff. And they had pushback. People were like, yo, we're not ready for that. We're too old. We don't understand the digital changes, So they said, okay, we're gonna buy some time and try to flesh this thing out a little bit, you know, see how we can incorporate everyone, you know, make it easy, more user-friendly, blah, blah, whatever. So now they're coming out with this just about a month later, right? It says this new feature will enable all individuals, right, with a, quote, My Social Security account, whether applicants or beneficiaries, to access and view their social security number online. Okay, as if there was ever a problem with having it physically, right? But anyway, let's go. According to US Today, this initiative follows the agency's recent decision to revise plans to reduce over-the-phone services and clarify which account holders are required to verify their identity in person. With this enhancement, now, remember, identity verification, right, is going to be very, very, very big when it comes to the MOTB. That's going to be one of the driving forces. Okay, because now you're going to see a transition from what you're using and what you're used to now to a more sophisticated and annoying way of doing things to frustrate the user. Okay, all in the name of security, they're going to frustrate you. So now you're not going to be doing two-step verification for every single time you log into your email or you try to open your phone or something. You know, they're going to stress you out where instead of just a two-step verification, it's going to be maybe a 3 or 4 step verification for every single time you log in, right? Every single time you log in, you're going to have a new password every single time you log in. It's like, yo, damn. So people are going to automatically embrace that one thing that kind of changes everything. Once you're logged in, you're logged in. It identifies who you are. You don't need to keep logging in and out. You know, every single time you want to log in, you got to get a new passcode. You got to scan your face, your this, you know, verify who you are. Nah. So it's going to make the CHIP much more appeasing, all right, to these lazy ass, bum ass Americans, man. Okay. Simple minded as demons. All right. Anyway, so it says here, with this enhancement, holders of My Social Security accounts will enjoy the convenience, another ploy, of displaying their Social Security number as needed for purposes beyond Social Security related matters. So there you go. So that means they got to create another problem, all right, that will make things inconvenient. So that way, by adopting their new philosophy or new way of doing things, right, this new digital My Social Security, it will make it convenient for you, right? Kind of like going to the airport, you got this long ass line, people taking off their shoes, going through the TSA and all that. And they'll say, well, if you do this digital thing, you don't have to join the line. Just go in there, scan your shit, and then boom, on your plane, you're good to go, right? But everybody else, you're gonna have to join this long line, especially when it's hot. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna put you through the ringer. You know? Have you had enough yet? Have you had enough yet? Have you had enough yet? They're gonna keep pressing and pressing and pressing. All right, until you submit and take that CHIP. You know, at first it might come off as an inconvenience, and as soon as it's going to be an oppressive thing, where it's like, yo, if you don't take it, you're just missing out on everything, man. They're forcing it. They're forcing it. They're forcing it. Okay. It says the SSA articulated that this feature offers a straightforward solution for individuals who may have forgotten their Social Security number or misplaced their Social Security card, thereby diminishing the necessity for in-person visits and the associated delays while awaiting a new card by mail. So that's all done by design, okay? Lee Dudek, the agency's acting commissioner, stated in an April 25th news release, quote, "We take pride in introducing this new digital solution to our account holders," end quote. This enhancement underscores, it says, this enhancement underscores our commitment to providing improved services to the public, all while ensuring the security of their personal information. Remember, there is no such thing as security of personal information. When they say that, in other words, other people cannot get your access, but they can. That's what privacy means. Privacy doesn't apply to them. Like, there's no privacy between you and them, right? Because you're giving up your privacy by using their services. So ain't no privacy between you and them. But privacy is for you and the next person. Okay. So continue, it says, "We believe that this contemporary approach will more effectively meet the needs of our constituents." Fucking stupid. "The agency encourages all account holders to utilize this new feature, which will be accessible beginning early this summer." So they're not wasting no time. Okay. "To view or access their Social Security number via mobile devices, individuals must first establish a My Social Security account. The SSA There you go. Actually, you know what? It's very interesting that they use the word My Social Security, right? It's individualized. It's individual. You, my is possessive. Okay, so it's you the person. My Social Security, right? The SSA further noted, this digital feature not only streamlines the process for individuals in need of their Social Security number, but also reinforces our commitment to safeguarding sensitive information. By providing a secure digital option, the SSA aims to mitigate the risks associated with lost or stolen cards and enhance the overall user experience. Okay, so they're just creating problems in your head, right? Because ain't nobody going around losing their Social Security card. Like, this is weird. You know, oh, I lost my Social Security card, you know, oh, I lost it last time. They gave me a new one, but I lost it again. You know, I'm just so, nah, nobody moves like that. How many people you know actually go around losing the Social Security cards, right? Or I just forgot my Social Security number. But come on, bro. You know that shit by heart. You know, because you use it all the time. You know it by heart. But they want to create this problem in your head. Yeah, you know, it is true. If I did lose it, it's gonna be pretty bad. That's my identity, man. I can't afford that. You know, let me just do the digital thing, man. It's much easier. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta go to run, be on a long line, and that's just the game they're playing. Okay, that's just the game they're playing, man. All right, but this is all part of the seriousness of the crisis that we're facing. All right, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna make that a title: the seriousness of the crisis we're facing. Okay, but again, this is all biblical prophecy. This is all part of the end. Okay, the end is come. Okay, it is come. All right, it's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 12, start at verse 22. Actually, verse 21, it says, "And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying the days are prolonged and every vision faileth?" Right? Oh, ain't all these prophecies, time has come to pass and ain't nothing coming, ain't nothing happening. So we good, right? Y'all been saying this for so long, ain't nothing happening, we good. Well, this is what the Lord says. "Tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease, right? And they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision." And how you going to feel the effect? Because it's going to be fulfilled, right? When we talk about the prophecies that are yet to happen, we're talking about the troublous times, the time of trouble, Jacob's trouble, all these different things, okay? People are actually suffering. That's why it's called time of trouble. So it's not until you actually start feeling the effects. I mean, you're going through the suffering stages, right? The birth pains that eventually becomes the unexpected sudden destruction that falls upon people and they can't escape. Okay? And it keeps on going and it's dragging out and it's like, damn, I'm so tired. When is this going to end? That's when you're going to be like, oh yeah, we're living in those times. Yes. Okay, because this is what the prophet saw. People actually suffering, going through these things. So until you go through them, you see, it's like, oh yeah, you guys been talking about this, right? Well, Klaus Schwab is coming. It says, for there shall be no more any vision, nor flattering divination within the house of Israel. For I am the Lord Yahweh, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass, right? Isaiah 55, right? Or no, Isaiah 54, okay, where it says what? That the Lord, that every vision that the Lord sends out doesn't come back void. Let's get that real quick. All right, Isaiah 54, and start off at or is it Isaiah 55? Let me see. Yep, I think it's Isaiah 55 and 8. And yep. Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 8, it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void." Okay? "It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." Okay? So the Lord said what? For I am, Ezekiel 12 and 25, "For I am the Lord, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass," because it's not going to go out void. All right, it will accomplish everything that the Lord has said it should accomplish. All right, it shall be no more prolonged, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord Yahweh. So the saying is by way of the prophets, okay, and the performance is the effects of those words that are being spoken, and we're seeing those effects now. Okay, did we not say these things were going to happen exactly as they're happening? Because it's all scriptures. All right, it's biblical prophecy. Okay, again, the word of the Lord Yahweh came to me, saying, "Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times that are far off." Right? Oh, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Not in this generation, at least. You know, fuck out of here. It says, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord Yahweh power. Okay? So guess what? Everything that we're about to start seeing, including Trump and his bugged out bullshit he's going to be putting everyone through, is all orchestrated by the Heavenly Father. Right? Did he not say that he's going to hand the Egyptians over into the hand of a cruel Lord? Right? Cruel, when you go into that word cruel, you pretty much arrive at the concept of being draconian. Okay? Being a damn demon. All right? And Trump is that guy. All right? He's that guy, man. He's that guy. All right? If you don't believe it, just watch. You're going to see. All right? We don't even have to tell you. You're going to witness it. You're going to be the ones telling us. And we're going to say, we try to tell you, we warned you, though. The videos are up there. If you can still go access them at that time. Right? Well, yeah, man, we are in those times, man. Again, the seriousness of the crisis we are facing. All right? All biblical end time prophecies, man. The beginning of sorrows is here. All right? Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. The Wadi Yabashmi Shai. Until next time, Shalom.